Hey guys, my name's Paul, and I'm here to tell you about how the reconciliation works in My Reseller Genie. So if you're not familiar with the concept of reconciliation, it's basically a way to compare records in your accounting system to a source of truth like a bank statement, a credit card statement, a sale platform statement, and make sure that what you've recorded lines up with what's on that statement. So I'm going to share my screen and walk you through step by step. Okay, so if you're using My Reseller Genie, most likely you already have some sale platforms and possibly bank accounts and credit cards entered. So I'm going to assume that and dive into actually explaining how the reconciliation piece works. So first of all, if we have a account that we have not started reconciling before, so that's like this Depop account up here, I'm going to see balance says unreconciled. I'm going to see just a blank space here, and then I'm going to see a button says start reconciling. So if I click start reconciling, it opens up this form and it allows me to enter a beginning balance and a beginning date. So what is this for? Well, there's two options when you are reconciling an account. So one is you can pick a point in time and start reconciling after that point in time. And the other option is you can go all the way back to when you started the account and start reconciling from there. For a lot of folks, picking a point in time and then reconciling after that is going to be what they will choose. So I'm going to go through that example. But if you were to just start when the account started, you would put in the beginning balance as 0 and the beginning date as whenever you opened the account. So I'm going to say, all right, my Depop beginning balance was $100 and the beginning date was September 1st, 2025. So I'll add that. Now, the steps that I'm showing you for Depop here, this sale platform, they're going to be the exact same for a bank account or credit card. The main difference is just which statement you are looking at. So I've got my a golden genie lamp that's appeared here. So this is a reconciliation in My Reseller Genie. If you see a gold lamp, that means that it's reconciled. So your beginning balance is always going to show as reconciled because you're telling Genie, hey, at this point in time, this was the balance in this account. But if you see down here, I've got a white lamp. So that tells me that this reconciliation has not been reconciled yet. So what does that mean? Well, let's scroll down a little bit here and we'll hover over this. I can see my ending balance is $560 on September 25th, 2025. So if I open up the reconciliation by clicking the reconcile button down here, I will see a detail of the transactions in My Reseller Genie that are attached to that account in this time range. Now that's a key statement here. So for each reconciliation, you're going to set an ending date. So the date when the balance is equal to this ending balance. And My Reseller Genie is going to look at all of the transactions. So sales, expenses, refunds, all that stuff is going to look at all that. And if it's assigned to this account and it's dated after the last reconciliation's ending date and on or before the current reconciliation's ending date, it'll pull all those in. Okay, so when we're looking at this form, we know that down here is all of the activity that is eligible to be part of this reconciliation. We have amounts here. We've got a toggle here for if it's matched. We'll get into that in a second. We've got our ending balance in My Reseller Genie, the ending balance on the statement or on the reconciliation. Then we've got the difference between the two. So our activity in My Reseller Genie that we have matched. So there's a $500 difference between what our matched activity in My Reseller Genie is saying compared to our source of truth that we're comparing it to. Okay, so let's return to this. So this is a match toggle. So when I click on this, what it's going to do is it's going to take the amount of this transaction and add it to the ending balance. So the balance here is being taken from the last reconciliation's ending balance. So that's like our starting point. And then we add other transactions to that balance to get to what our ending balance in My Reseller Genie will be. So I've matched this one item, which was $10. That brings my balance up to $70. And now if I match this $190, that brings it up to $260. So all of my eligible transactions have been matched, but I still have a difference of $300. So what does this tell me? Well, most likely what this means is I'm missing some transactions in My Reseller Genie. It could also be possible that you have an amount recorded incorrectly, but typically when you have such a large difference, that means there's missing activity that you need to then add into My Reseller Genie. Okay, so let's just say we have a transaction that's on a bank statement that we want to edit. Uh, so like the amount is wrong on the transaction for some reason. We probably keyed it in wrong or we accidentally edited it. But what we need to do is just double click it and then we can modify it from here. So I can change this to 200, click update, and then my transaction has been updated here, and also the difference has been updated here as well. Now, let's say we realize, oh, we're missing a $100 sale. What we would do to add it to this reconciliation is exit out of the reconciliation and then record our sale. So I'll just say it's my missing sale for $100. And our sale platform is Grailed. I think the sale date is going to have to be before the 25th. So let me add that. And then we can go back to our reconciliation and we'll click reconciled. Okay. And so here's my sale. I'm going to match that. And then beautiful. That brings my balance in My Reseller Genie to equal the ending balance of that reconciliation. We get that little success message that tells us the statement is reconciled. So that's really how the reconciliation process works. You add the reconciliation. If it reconciles automatically, you'll just get that success message. But if for one reason or another it doesn't, and you need to do a manual reconciliation, that's how you will go about doing the manual reconciliation. Okay, now, fair warning, if you are reconciling a sale platform in My Reseller Genie, depending on when you're watching this video, most likely you are going to need to add the transfers out of that sale platform, because right now our sale integrations don't record this. They only pull in sales, refunds, expenses, basically all of the transactions that would impact your profit and loss statement. So you can either do this by adding a transaction, and you would say, for example, if money was coming into your bank account from your eBay account, you would say it's a money in transaction, it's coming from eBay, and here's the amount, 200, here's the date when it was transferred, and then my bank account was test PNC. And then you would add it, and that would add the transfer in for you. Or if you had a bank account connected, you could edit the transaction that pulled in from that bank account and mark the general ledger account as your eBay account, and it would create the transfer that way as well. So just something to be aware of with the sale platform integrations. Now, next up, I want to talk about a couple other elements on the reconciliation page. So the first element is this balance here. So, you notice some of these have balances with a number, some of them have balance unreconciled. So let's talk about how the number gets calculated and also how to get it to not say unreconciled. So unreconciled means that you haven't started a reconciliation for the account. So the way to get rid of the unreconciled is to click reconcile new, put in a beginning date, a beginning balance, and then My Reseller Genie will calculate the balance for you. Now, what is the balance? Well, this is the running total based on the activity in My Reseller Genie, the running total in that account. So this can be really helpful for seeing how much money you have across your accounts. So we calculate that as the net activity of that statement after your beginning balance is entered. So if you entered a $100 beginning balance on September 1st, then we would look at all the activity after September 1st, so September 2nd and on, and then we would take the net of that activity and add it to the beginning balance that you entered, and that would give us our total account balance. So it's the same principle as the way your bank account will display a balance for you. Credit cards will display a balance for you. Sale platforms will display a balance for you. Really, this is just making that information convenient and accessible for you. So we've covered most of the functionality here. There's a couple other things. So One is you're not actually able to delete a sale platform or bank account, but you can hide them if they're not attached to a active integration. So if you wanted to hide them, what you would do is click on this little eye icon. So if you click on that, it goes away. If you didn't mean to do this, you can go down and where it says click to view hidden accounts. You click on that, and then you can bring it back by just toggling that eye back on. Now, when you hide the account, it's also not going to show up in the list of sale platforms or bank accounts that are eligible to attach to transactions. So just be aware of that. Now, there is also an edit button here. So if we click edit, the only thing that we can edit is the account subtype. So an integrated account, the idea is that account is connected to an integration, whether it's a sale platform or bank account, credit card, and the transactions that that integration pulls in will be associated with that account, whether it's a sale platform, bank account, or credit card. And then for editing reconciliations, if you edit the last reconciliation, you can edit either the ending date or the ending balance. But if you go before that, the only thing that you can change is the ending balance. So you really shouldn't need to change the ending date, but we have that set in place to keep the process from breaking. And let's say we do edit one of our balances. So if I were to change this to $5,300.21. It gives us this little warning that says like, hey, this is going to impact future reconciliations. You sure you want to do this? We say yes. And then what that's going to do is if it makes the statement unreconciled, it'll open up this form. And it'll also check and see for the next statement, based on the new ending balance, does that next statement reconcile? So in this case, that breaks both the reconciliation, so they both turn white. If we want to correct this, all we need to do is click reconcile. It'll open up our earliest statement. And since I want this balance to be different, I'll just change it. And then that's actually going to reconcile this statement. And then it checks the next statement to see, does it fix that one as well? So that is the rundown on how the reconciliation tab in My Reseller Genie works. It's the same, the functionality is really the same between bank accounts and credit cards and sale platforms. At the end of the day, it's all about making sure your transactions in My Reseller Genie total up properly to match your source of truth. So let us know if you have questions. I think a lot of you are really going to enjoy this feature, and we're excited to be rolling it out. All right, see you next time.